G'day, legends. It is Jai, that Aussie Metal Guy here with Crannk.com. So today, tonight, wherever you are in the world, it's a great pleasure that I'm getting to chat with Sonny, the guitarist and founding force behind Noir Addiction, a dark industrial rock band out of Italy that's already turning heads with a glamorously haunting sound. Noir Addiction bring together a high voltage fusion of dark rock, attitude, shock rock, theatrics, and raw emotion, creating an immersive experience meant to be felt as much as heard. Sonny himself has been around for a while with music. He's fronted White Pulp, co-created The Dead Good over in LA there as well, had songs licensed for American TV shows, collaborated with countless artists and producers. Now he's reunited with former Posthuman bandmates Richard Christ and Nessie, along with drummer Roberto. They do make up Noir Addiction. They are dropping Decadent Desire. You may have already seen a couple of the singles and The Unbreakable over there on YouTube. Decadent Desire does drop tomorrow, so it'll be out by the time this comes out. Sonny, thank you so very
Yeah.
much for joining me, mate.
Thank you for having me, Jay. Thank you so much, man.
Absolute bloody pleasure, mate. I think I rounded about everything there you've done before, so everyone needs to go check out some of the stuff you've done before. We will dive a little bit into there as well. But Sonny, let's start right at the beginning, mate. Tell me a little bit about some of your first musical memories and what inspired you first to take up music and become a musician and guitarist.
All right. So I started like around, I was like about 20 years old. Started playing around with the guys in my area. I come from a small town in the center of Italy. Kind of depressing for a way, you know, in a way. And so, yeah, I started playing around in cover bands. I actually started as a drummer. So I was playing drums in band and then doing backing vocals. And then, it started growing on me. I'm like, I want to write my own songs. And usually the drummer doesn't do that. It's like he gets, not always, but most of the time he gets the last part of the game, let's say. So yeah, I started like looking up at my guitar player so much that I was like, hey, you gotta teach me something. And out of that, it was so easy for me. I felt like I was doing good backing and started writing my own music. And so I jumped from band to band and, a little bit of guitar here and then vocals and guitar. And then slowly I went to LA. So let's say, I mean, if you want me to, I can tell you like my influences and everything else. Obviously, music was a big part in my life from the
Yeah,
beginning.
definitely, man.
You
Tell
know,
me about some of your influences and some of your early influences as well, and what that was like for you going drums to guitar, and like it must have been really good for songwriting as well.
I don't know. I mean, I just felt like the first band I got into like so much, they were the Doors. So I was just like, I was a kid. I remember I was pretty young, and
Yeah.
there was this friend of mine like, you gotta check out this band. And I was just like, and I fell in love with Morrison vocals. I was just like that, that's so intense. I just liked it. And all the trippy keyboard parts, that they were going on. That was my first, let's say, trip and jump into music. So that was my first thing. Which it made me literally crazy about music. And so I started playing on pots and pans at home like this. So drums literally was my first pickup. It was just like, I just felt like that. Right after that, so I skipped like all the 60s and 70s, let's say, went back on that later, went straight to Nine Inch Nails.
Yep. Yeah,
It's
dude.
pretty weird. You go from the Doors to Nine Inch Nails. And I remember like the first time I heard to Pretty Hate Machine, and that was just like, all right, that's where I really felt like I'm gonna be serious about music. Before it was just a passion. You were just playing, like I said, in the house like this, and you're like, yeah, I'm obsessed about music, but never really thought about being in a band, you know. And after Nine Inch Nails, it's like when the world opened up to me and my parents started being scared.
Yeah, I loved all that early stuff of the Doors, and we're around the same age, and Jimi Hendrix, and I loved watching those guys from that time. And I went kind of because listening to my mum, she'd always be playing that kind of stuff, and David Bowie, and
Right.
there'd be
Right.
Supertramp, and all that kind of rock stuff. And then it became a very slippery progression to Nine Inch Nails and the grunge stuff, and the industrial stuff, and the heavy.
I went back a little bit actually. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna tell you all the influences, but that was funny because I always remember these, the Doors and then Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
And then I went back again, you know. Then you're like, okay, Nine Inch Nails, and then Bowie came in.
Yeah.
You know, I just went like back and forth, you know, and you know, I don't know. I like to do that. I was never really into something and be like, okay, I'm stuck here for 1, 2, or 3 years and then I'm gonna move on, you know? It was just a back and forth. And it was really interesting to me. I don't know. I liked it that way. But then, of course, with Nine Inch Nails, it's just like all the electronic side. It was different, you know, because you come from the Doors where everyone is playing in the band. There's no electronic really, of course, going on. With Nine Inch Nails was interesting for me because I could hear like heavy guitars, but then a lot of electronics, and
Yep.
then you're like, at the beginning it's kind of weird. You're like, no one is playing that part. What is this? You know, isn't it like faking it or something like that? You're young and you get introduced to that and you just try. And instead, for me, it was just like, wow, that's so cool, so intense. I literally found myself in the genre.
Yeah, well, it seems like a easy progression as well with the keys and from like the Doors into bands like Nine Inch Nails and the industrial and the use of the keys, the synths, the samples, and all of that to create a whole immersive
Right.
experience that works on different levels of listening as well.
Totally. Because it's a completely different, like, kind of way to listen to music. If you think
Yeah,
about the Doors and Nine Inch Nails, it's two completely different words. But I think that makes it interesting. And also, I think it's good if you're able to be open to both worlds.
yeah,
Which it's not a thing lately. I mean, it hasn't been for years, but you know, when I was younger, if you were listening to the Doors, you weren't listening to Nine Inch Nails.
yeah,
There was this kind of war between the two worlds, being just like, what is that? You know, people are like, you gotta play, you gotta learn how to play an instrument, and what is that faking it? But instead, if you think about it, it's genius. Trent Reznor is a fucking genius, man.
yeah.
Just a
Well,
fucking genius.
and it was a different time when we grew up as well. We could lock ourselves away with those albums, and we weren't necessarily listening to what the outside world was saying. Because I lived in a small country town as
Right.
well, and if rarely you get one of the music magazines, you may read that, but you go into a music shop, pick an album, and you just go home and you immerse yourself with albums like you're saying, like The Doors or Pink
Right.
Floyd or Nine Inch Nails when that started coming
Right.
out, and Marilyn Manson, those early albums, and like even the Corn stuff that
Oh,
was dropping, all that industrial stuff that was coming out at that time. Combi Crossed with that, their kind of sound. It was just absolute
yeah.
crazy time, and you'd lock yourself away and listen to those albums, but you wouldn't just listen to the whole one single. Listen to the whole album as well, and the different sounds, the intros, the whole lot.
Right. I remember, like, speaking on Nine Inch Nails in that case specifically, when The
Yeah.
Fragile came out.
Yep.
I mean, that was a double album.
Yeah.
You know, between the cover, all the info, and all the songs, that was literally like, what is this? You know? I mean, you got the single, yeah, but the album was just, and it wasn't for everybody. I mean, I get it. You know, it wasn't something that not everyone is going to wake up listening to that album. I do, but you know, I know that many people don't. And at the time, it was just like, first of all, you were paying good money for that. So you wanted to give it a shot. If it didn't come right away for you, you were just like, okay, I paid good money for this. So let's wait for a moment. I'm not just gonna skip the album and go somewhere else. You know, and then like you said, you didn't have infos except for magazines. I remember Metal Hammer and all the stuff, you know, you were just like, hey, this band is playing. They're coming, in my case, they're coming to Italy,
Yep.
you know, and you knew they were going to play. You knew they did one album. You were reading the interview for one album, and that's it. After
Yeah.
that, you didn't know anything else about them. Just had the music to fantasize and connect, you know. I don't know, man. It was just another period in time. It's just so funny.
Damn straight. Tell us a little bit about your time over in LA. What was it like going from Italy and going over there and working with the projects White Pulp and the Dead Good as well?
Yeah, that was great. We started at the beginning. Actually, I used to be, as you mentioned before, I used to be in a Marilyn Manson tribute band, Posthuman,
Yep.
which we did because, like I said, Italy, I mean, I didn't really say that because I said that I come from a small town and that sucks, and we all know that, what it means. But Italy in general, you couldn't really go out and play with your own music unless
Yep.
you were like, let's say, a big name. So I met the singer, which he looked exactly like Marilyn Manson, which is our singer for Noir Addiction. He doesn't look like Marilyn Manson anymore, but he used to.
Yep.
And so it was like, do you only look like that? Or no, I actually sing. So we started playing. Long story short, we played a ton of shows around Italy and around Europe in general. Then we got a call to go to play in LA for 3 shows. And since we were playing a lot of shows in Europe, we were just like, let's go and let's stay for a month, like a holiday. Let's see what it's like. Fell in love instantly with the city. So it was my first time. I'm like, I should have been here 10 years ago. Fuck this, fuck whatever. That's where you start at. Um, and then I went back, and then I slowly decided that was my city. And while I was there, I was fully immersed into music,
Yeah.
obviously. Um, and I was working with the dark with my very good friend Brandon Ashley, which I met in LA at the time. Started playing a lot of shows, DJing, having a crowd around. And one thing led to another, started playing shows with Orgy, with Wesley 13. We did Peter Murphy. We started being in the scene, let's say. After that, I did That Good, which we licensed a lot of music for that EP, which was a really interesting project. It was more like the Kills.
Yeah.
You know the duo The Kills?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was more like that way, but with more electronic elements. So I always kept that because I really liked it. And it was a crazy time, man, because I was playing with many bands and I was really immersed into music. And then a friend of mine gave me a call and it's like, hey, I heard some of your instrumental tracks too. I know a guy, a music supervisor, and I think he might be interested in having like some of your tracks in a movie, in this movie, and then he works for other companies too. And after that, I started working a lot, let's say, behind the scene on the
Jeez.
computer, just like writing music. So, it was like I mean, I was in LA for about 8 years, but 3 or 4 of those years were really intense in music. And I got to work with several people, got to go in great recording studios, which I would have never thought, to be honest with you. I was just like, again, coming from a small town, going to LA and just kind of like living the dream, if you want to put it like that,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, it was great. I still license like my music, but while I was there, I learned so much,
Yeah.
and it was just like my place. And yeah, it went really well. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
It would have been a crazy and rewarding and hectic but fulfilling experience as well. Like that time over there behind the scenes and kind of seeing how it kind of works there as well. Having your music being licensed to some US TV shows and kind of seeing how that kind of scene works for those few years and making music over there and being a part of that r race over there.
Yeah, I would have never expect that. I mean, I always thought about playing in a band, which that's what I like the most, of course.
Well,
But then
that's
after I got this call, I was like, you know, I'm like, let's see, maybe something can work out. And I actually licensed like many songs of mine. And it was exciting, like working with people. And then it was good from my side because I'm not good at writing any genre, meaning all the genre. Like if you call me and you're like, hey, I need something for a Christmas movie, I'm not the guy. So it's like, yeah, you need to call me for some real drama, horror movies, and that's what I like. And then the guy understood me and he was just like, yeah, for sure, man, no worries. I got a ton of those. And so I felt like it was natural. I didn't have to work at home. I didn't have to score on the picture and being just like, oh, fuck, I hate this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, yeah, yeah, I just kept diving into what I really liked, and it was a good time in my life because like I said, I didn't expect that, and it taught me a lot.
Yeah, well, music's taken you on this journey in your life from, the drums banging on the pots and pans to playing guitar and scaring mum and dad and having
That,
been in this cover band, then finding yourself in LA creating music of your own and, ultimately taking you on this massive journey, but it all being through music and you just taking that dive and going, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just,
exactly. If it wasn't because of music, I didn't have so many experiences in my life. I wouldn't have had that.
uh,
So that's what's good. Exactly like you just put it, because of music, I had the chance to experience so many other things in life, which wasn't just music. And
yeah.
it's unbelievable. I fucking love music for many reasons.
Exactly. And then we were talking about all that behind the scenes and the making the music. We got to jump into our addiction. What originally sparked the idea for you?
But the guys that I was with, two of the other guys
Posthuman.
that they were with me actually in Posthuman, the tribute band of Marilyn Manson. At the time, we wanted to make a project, but I think there was too much ego from all the guys in the band.
Yep.
We were like five people at the time, and it was just hard. But we stayed friends, good friends. So last year we actually went for a hike. We were together, and I started. I was thinking for a while about this. I'm like, hey, do we want to put a band together? Do we want to make what we actually were supposed to do at the time?
Yep.
Can we make it? Can we try it out? And, and I'm like, if you guys tell me, yeah, we need to jump on this like 100%, it's not going to be something just out of fun. If you guys tell me yes, then I'll start writing the songs. They said yes. We got the drummer, which this story is funny about the drummer because I have a rehearsal spot. And while I was doing some acoustic on my own, I remember like I could hear like playing the drums 2 rooms far down, and but someone was playing a song of mine from White Pulp. So I'm like, who is this guy? Who's playing? And I went there, opened the door, and there is Roberto, and he's 18. And I'm like, dude, if I close my eyes, you sound like a 40 years old man. It's like you got the same hit on the snare, which I really, really love. And he actually told me he liked my whole band, White Pulp, and that he knew like several songs of ours. So I talked to him like, hey, I'm putting a band together. You want to be part of it? Because we actually needed a drummer. And it was like, yeah, man, if it sounds kind of like this, what you've been doing, then yeah. I'm like, yeah, might be a little heavier, but. And after that, it took me a month and a half to record the songs.
Okay. What was the songwriting
So,
process? What was the
yeah.
songwriting process for you guys? Because I know you've had work together as well, Nessie and Richard as well, you guys before in the previous project you were talking about, but that being primarily a cover band, would have obviously worked together and talked about making original music at that time prior to all this. Or, what was that like for you guys to come back together and go, look, man, we're making original music? What was the songwriting process for you guys?
Well, I think like the main point of all this was that we talked about it before we were going to start the project, and we were
Yeah.
like, I mean, we were honest to each other. Like, if we do, if I work a little bit on the songs and you do the same, and the other guy does the same,
Yep.
we're never gonna finish. The process is gonna take too long. So I had the pretty clear idea because I know well Richard, so I knew
Yep.
what was gonna work for his vocals, what he would have liked, what would have been
Yeah.
really good for him. And so they were just like, fine, just write something and play it for us and let's see where it goes. And that play something for us, it was me showing up every 3 days, being just like, I got a song.
Yep.
But the song was basically done, meaning, it got everything, got the intro, it got the solo, it
Yep.
got all the sound, it was missing probably some kind of arrangement, but the song was there. And it was really quick because he jumped right away into it. And he was just like, I really like this. And we he worked basically on the vocal lines. And then we got together, we arranged something, and I mainly wrote the music and the lyrics for the album.
Yeah.
So it worked out in a way that at the beginning I didn't expect because when it's like this, it's very easy that you might clash sometime here and there, you know?
Yeah,
But luckily, they really enjoyed the music
yeah,
and the whole process was really smooth. When the songs were done, after the vocals were done, we just gave the song to Nessie, which did like his synthesizers parts and worked on it. And then finally we gave it to Roberto, which he laid down the drums. We did the music was done. I have a recording studio, a home recording studio, so
yeah.
I recorded the songs at home. Richard did his vocals at home, and then we did the drums in a professional studio where we could actually do the drums at a friend of mine in Florence, Italy.
Yeah, it's got a bloody really, really great sound, and like I know the album will be out by the time I drop this interview tomorrow. But like the singles that have been released have already got some really great views, like thousands of views over on YouTube and sort of a whole bunch of listens. But the whole album is really, really bloody good. I love the way you done the intro there, build into this album as well. But the whole album has so
Yeah.
many different elements to it. It's really, really hooky, and it has these tracks that you walk away and you can't help but keep, hear it in your head, and you want to come back to them and you want to play them again. And it's just the more I play it, the more I want to hear it as well. It's got a
Thanks, man.
amazing
I
sound
love
to
it.
it.
Thank you. I mean, I really appreciate it. It was like I said, even if it was written in a short period of time, uh, a lot of work was done to get it, but where we were really happy about the sound, the drums especially, because we wanted the drums to be big.
Yep.
And that was our first concern. We were like, how are we gonna make the drum sound really big with all these fucking guitars?
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of guitars. So, you always gotta work in a way or another.
Hello.
But I mean, someone is gonna suffer in the mix, man. Someone is gonna suffer. That there's nothing really you can do. So we were just like, what are we gonna do? So we did push on the guitars, but the drums made it in the mix in a pretty good way, we all believe. And I'm glad you got this reaction from the album I sent over. And yeah, man, I'm very excited to see how people are gonna react to the entire album because, like you said, the two singles we released, we have like pretty good numbers on that. It's a lot for us, man. It's just like I didn't expect it, you know.
Yeah, but
It's
like
good.
Richard's vocals, like you listen to them, you can hear the different influences. But I was like pulling all sorts of different stuff. First time I heard it through, I'm like, no, I'm, I'm catching like almost like a little bit of Lemmy in there mixed in with some industrial. And then I was hearing, then I second time around, I'm like, wait, I'm picking this out of it as well. And then like, because I listened to the album before I wanted to dive into and check out some of your influences. And I'm like, wait a sec, I'm picking that Nine Inch Nails as well. And then all these
Yeah,
different
yeah, for sure.
moments in there. But then you have also, have these like almost like real grungy rock elements as well with these big hooks in some of these tracks. And then, as it rounds out there towards with the killing assholes and villains in heaven. And it's just all these different feels to it.
Dude, I'm glad. I see you so excited. I fucking love it. I really do, man. It's good. I mean, I love the impression you got from the album. Really
Yeah, and you could,
awesome.
as you were talking about the production, tell us a little bit about the production because you did mention with the guitar layers and everything as well, and those electronic textures as well, and with the big drums. Tell us a little bit about the production process for this one. What was that like for
Okay,
you?
so basically what I well, oh yeah. So when I started, usually I got like a couple of Marshalls, and then I got a box.
Yep.
Um, I have my own sound, so I know how it's gonna work out. I work. Whoa, sorry. How it's gonna work out in the song. So I mic those. Just started laying down like all my guitars. First of all, the ideas were mainly based on the guitars. Then I have a really good friend of mine, which he uses a lot of. How can I say it? What's the name now? I can't remember. Wait. Well, it's got like certain synthesizer. Don't remember the name now.
Yep.
Where the sound is fucking awesome. I mean, I have virtual instrument, of course, that I can use those. So basically, what I did it was laying down the sound first there, then going to him, and then we rework, we process everything using his hardware. I can't remember the name now.
Yep.
So that was the main uh, way where I work on the songs. And then I just laid down like some drums, but really quick because I knew we would have the drummer tracking down the final product. So that's basically really how. So unless you want to know specific like what I use, it was really easy.
Yeah.
I kind of got like a template for myself. I know how this kind of project can be worked on in a quick but at the same time in an interesting way. Yeah.
Exactly, because I heard this album and I'm like, man, this production's spot on. And then looking into some of the stuff you've done, and then what we were talking about before, it makes complete sense because of all the work you've done leading into it over there in LA behind the scenes and leading up into this point as well. You can just hear that this production is like debut album, but this is like someone who's worked a long time doing this kind of stuff too.
Yeah, really do, yeah. And then there are a bunch of like fitter guitars. Like I love to make some guitars that in the end are gonna sound like dirty, filthy synthesizers. I fucking love that stuff. So sometimes you might hear a sound that you're like, oh, this is supposed to be a synthesizer, but it's done with the guitar, and I love to mix it up. Like I really like the original sound, like very strong and very heavy distortion, yeah. But I also like to fuck around with pedals, and it makes me happy. Like this is what, can you see it?
Yeah, I can see that. Fuzz Factory, hell yeah.
You know, yeah, it's very well known, but if you use this the proper way with a good distortion, you're gonna have so much fun. On drums, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, hell
On
yeah,
drums.
dude.
So yeah, I got like, I just play a lot with pedals and see what comes out. So I do like to experiment like at the end of the song, I like to do the extras and like take my time to say, let's use this pedal or the other one and work with it. But most of the time, the song needs to be quick for me. The structure of the song, the idea needs to be quick. If it takes too long, to me, I don't know if it works like that for everybody, but to me, there's something wrong with it.
Yeah,
It
that's it.
it can take me 3 weeks to work on a song. At that point, I'm like, I'm not writing Bohemian Rhapsody. You know what I mean? I don't have like behind myself like an orchestra or 7,000 vocals. I don't need all that time to work on a song. It has to be pretty. It has to flow easily,
You
man.
flow out.
That's
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 what
what I like.
exactly what I was thinking as you're saying that. Like art's just kind of just flows sometimes. If you're trying to push too hard, then probably just walk away from it and come back and find something else and then come
You
back to
can
that.
come back.
Yeah,
Definitely.
exactly. It
Yeah.
should just flow as well. So looking ahead, what are the band's immediate plans with the album dropping tomorrow, which will be September 9th, people? By now, you should all be cranking it through your stereos. But what's the immediate plans for you guys?
Okay. So the band is fairly new. Even though the album was made like during the winter, we basically opened up all of our social medias in mid-June, I believe. So it's been like, let's say, 3 months, okay?
Yeah.
We wanted to release these couple of singles, videos, some reels, and see how the reaction was gonna be. Now that the album is coming out, so tomorrow we're gonna work a lot on the promo for it.
Yeah.
So we wanna, just get out of it. So now that's the most important thing to us. Yeah, because people are like, "Hey, we like those two songs. Do you have more?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can't wait for it, but it's set on the night." So so yeah, tomorrow there's the album. It's gonna come out, and then we have one cover. We did a cover of "I Feel You" by Depeche Mode.
Ooh.
Yeah, a pretty heavy version, which I really like, but then will come out like a couple of months from now, probably. We have a bunch of videos that we're gonna post, lots of material. So again, working on the promo, and at the same time, we're gonna start booking shows. So that's the idea. We really couldn't make it earlier than now, basically, because the album wasn't out, so you can't really call promote clubs and be just like, hey, I got two songs
Two
out. So
songs.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I got two songs, and they're like, dude, I got it. I like it. But, you need something more. And
Yeah.
so they just, I get it. They want to see the reaction from people once the album is out. So I get it. So working hard on that. And at the same, there's a lot to do because at the same time, we are going to start to work on new songs.
Yeah.
So the album is new for you guys, but for us, it's kind of old. You know how it is.
I'm
We played
s-
the shit out.
I've spoken to a lot of bands that have been like, dude, this is a great album, but I'm like just ready to start playing something else because I've been playing this for the last couple of years.
Yeah, dude. You just for us, it wasn't a year. It was like, what can I say? By now, it's like 8 months, I think. But it's like when you get obsessed in that because you're excited and you need to start rehearsing. So we better rehearsal like for about 4 months. Yeah, for 4 months, which is awesome. I'm enjoying that like crazy. I can't wait to go on stage. That's my main point, of course.
Yeah,
But music-wise we are gonna start writing something new. So between videos, material, booking shows, album promotion, as you can imagine, there's just like a lot to do. And we are on our own, meaning, we don't really have like an agency behind us pushing, so it's kind of like just you talk to people, you connect with people, and, I got back into the game, let's say 1 year ago
yeah.
before between COVID, when I got back to Italy and a few things happened in life that, I wasn't really into music again. So now I'm back.
I'm back. And everyone's back, and everyone needs to be cranking out some Noir Addiction as well, mate. I'm going to jump into a few questions before we round up, mate. First music album you ever brought, mate.
First that I bought, you mean like the record vinyl?
Yeah, first album you ever brought. CD, tape, cassette. What was the first album you went and brought with your own money?
Cassette, I believe in cassette. Oh man, like first now I don't remember. Cassette, I remember Black Album by Metallica for sure.
Yeah, dude, didn't we all, man? We all, I think a lot of us write a passage to get a Metallica album, our generation for sure.
What was that? 1990, right?
Yeah, around about then, dude. I was only young as well. I remember having it on tape cassette and rocking up at a friend's house and putting it in, and they were like looking at me like I was so evil or something.
Yeah, I remember. See, I can't remember like exactly the first one that I got, but talking about cassette, it's like I remember Metallica, I remember 10 by Pearl Jam.
Oh, had that as well, dude.
Yeah, I'm still in, but I was very into all the Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden,
Yeah, versus
Screaming Trees,
Nirvana. Yeah,
Mark
Screaming
Lanegan on
Trees,
his own.
Alice
Oh
in
yeah,
Chains,
Nirvana. I was like,
Alice in.
I was like crazy about those bands, man. Crazy,
Oh, mate,
crazy.
I knew it, man. That's totally everything I was listening to around that time as well, mate. So bloody, definitely the same taste of music. First concert
Yeah.
you attended.
First concert was actually Pearl Jam in '96, and that was the tour for No Code. That was my first, let's say, big concert. Okay, so I went to, some other Italian bands. They were smaller, so yeah. But the big one I still remember that was Pearl Jam, No Code tour. Same here, if I'm not wrong, or maybe the summer after. Huge tour was when U2 did the Pop Mart tour.
Yep.
That was an insane show.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like YouTube, the fucking show
The show.
was unbelievable. Yeah, what a show, man. But the first was Per Jam with Fastback that they were opening for them, I remember. And I just loved it. I was in Rome. Loved it, man. Yeah.
Oh, that would have been an amazing experience. I love that No Code album as well. And coming back onto that U2, I'll jump off a little bit on these last questions as well. But that U2, like, I was talking about this the other day. It's interesting because I was having this conversation, another interview about going to concerts like that, even if you don't like the band, it's like going to a sports game. Like I'm not a sporting person, but I've gone to a sports game and I've got wow, the whole experience being amongst it. I've gone to some different kind of concerts, like seeing some bands that I wouldn't go. Like I'm not a huge fan of, but I've gone to some different concerts and I've had a really great time just looking at something like that and
Oh,
experiencing it and
yeah.
just seeing the show of it. Love them or hate them. You two just had that whole stage persona they put on those concerts like a whole show the stage experience as well.
Exactly.
It's something to behold.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like I went to see like bands that I wasn't extremely crazy about,
Yeah,
but to be honest, they put on a show that was just insane. And as a musician, especially for you,
yeah,
it's just learning. You want to be. there, and it's just like it's like you said, like if you go to a game, like when I was in LA, I remember my friends were taking me to baseball games. Now, I never understood baseball, but you were eating hot dogs and there was music
Yep.
and people were playing, and it's the whole experience was just cool. I mean, I'm not comparing that to a
No, but
specific band, but you know what?
I I get it. It's the whole spectacle, the whole immersion, seeing something else and experiencing different things and music and it's people stop gatekeeping. Go out and enjoy different kinds of shows, mate. That's for fucking sure as well. Um, one artist, living or dead, you dream of collaborating with.
Collaborating with, well, there are a ton of them, man.
Yeah.
Maynard from Tool,
Oh, wouldn't that be good, man?
Maynard from Tool, well, of course, Trent Reznor, which I met once. Uh, but that would be just like, yeah, that would be the dream. Right now, these are the two names that come up to my mind, but
Uh,
there are so many. Can't do that with Bowie anymore, unfortunately, but
yeah.
that would have been another one. It's kind of like a classic, but I think that that there was a project for a while, it was supposed to come out, that was Maynard and Reznor together,
Yeah.
Tapeworm. That
Yeah.
was the name. Do you know that?
Yeah.
I think Pass from a Perfect Circle should be a song from that project, actually. Just a great fucking song. See, those are the two people that I really look up. Like, what's going on in your mind?
Yeah.
Like you like to literally be a fly on the wall in a studio with them and just like, what the fuck is going on over there?
I
You know?
know. Oh, Perfect Circle. That Murdered Oms album when that come out, I think wasn't that one of the first ones they dropped. That was just, I was, dude, so bloody good as well. Okay, favorite track off the album and why? What's your favorite track off your
What,
album?
sorry?
What's your favorite track off your album and why?
Okay, favorite tracks. I really like Chemical Bride. I mean, it's a catchy one, so that's a song that I always have a good, like, I love listening to that song. But if I need to be more specific about the sound and the structure of the song, let's say a song that's not so commercial, which is Final Act.
Yeah,
Final Act is pretty heavy, but it's also like theatrical at the beginning. You got like a bunch of synthesizers going on, and then you have the double tempo in the chorus with heavy guitars. That's probably my favorite one. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. There's some really,
yeah.
really great tracks
It
on
was,
there.
it was good like to write that song. It was probably like one of the most, let's say, difficult in a way.
Yep.
Uh, but really satisfying. I like the lyrics. I like everything with it. It's a really good song. Like I said, probably no one that it's not for everybody, let's say like that, but I really like it.
That's it. No, Sonny, this has been an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you so much for joining me. Noir Addiction is a band with vision, intensity, and a sound as cinematic as it is crushing. Everybody go out, grab Decadent Desire. It is out now. You can go hit up their socials as well as I believe it's noiraddiction.com. Grab the album. It is bloody everywhere. Stream it. Crank it bloody loud. Sonny, you get the last word. Shout outs, thank yous, and anything else you'd like to add in there, my friend. It's all yours.
Man, I really appreciate like you giving me some of the time to talk about the band, to talk about the album that's gonna come out tomorrow. Really appreciate people like you, seriously. And I hope that you guys out there are gonna enjoy our album. More Addiction is coming. So yeah, let's enjoy.
Damn straight. Everyone get the addiction. Everyone crank up Noir Addiction. The neighbors are going to want to hear it too. Sonny, cheers, mate.
Hey, cheers. Thank you so much, man.